is. Man, I tell you, this past summer, 2022, was an interesting summer of bass fishing up in northern Michigan, and it changed a lot from last year. I mean, that is the one thing that I guess Dylan Gruff from Extreme Outdoorsman and I really had to adapt to this year, was the changing conditions where we spent a lot of our time last year. So what I want to do with this video is just break down for you guys the 4 major key pink baits. This is gonna be a pink bait video because it is October, right? October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So what I'm gonna do is I want to show you guys some fish catches, some of my favorite fish catches, and what I want to do is just show you the 4 pink lures. There's really 3 pink lures that I always have tied on in the summertime, but there's a 4th one that I started to add to my arsenal, and I'm really glad that I did. So before we get into this really quick video of 4 key pink baits that you definitely want to have tied on if you're fishing in general, or maybe fishing in northern Michigan specifically, these 4 baits are going to help you out tremendously. So check out some of these awesome fish catches from this past year or this past summer, and then I'll break down for you guys my setups and what 4 baits that I really like to use all the time in the summer. Stay tuned. There he is. Really nice fish. Oh, look at the size of that one, guys. There's a toad there. Woo, buddy. Oh, come back. Man, I missed that bite on camera, but check out that chunker. That is a nice fish on a pink lemonade Guggen filthy frog. I don't know if why you guys aren't throwing pink, but check out that fish. Beautiful, beautiful northern Michigan bass. The 3rd. Oh, man. Look at the size of that northern, guys, on that pink swim jig for motion fishing with that paddle tail swim jig, man. That's why I'm glad I used this 65-pound braid, but it's a really nice fish. Hold that thought, I just caught a nice one. Yeah, hold on. So there's the very first one ever on the pink and white jerk shad from Berkeley. So I dipped it in pink spike at dye. Got a nice golden fall largemouth, beautiful fish up here a little bit shallower. That's a nice fish. Look at the side of that chunk on a pink lemonade motion chatterbait. Absolutely freight train that thing. I got a Strike King white structure bug on there. Look at that beautiful fish. Absolutely smoked that pink chatterbait or chink seeker for motion. So we're gonna get some. All right, so those are pretty cool, right? You got any doubt in your mind that if bass like pink, they really do. And I'm not saying they just like it in northern Michigan. Dylan and I did catch some big smallmouth bass down on Lake St. Clair on pink flatworms and pink Ned rigs. But if you're looking at trying a pink bait, hands down, the #1 pink bait that I always have tied on is some sort of bladed jig. So this is the Berkeley Slobber Knocker. This is the white version, and you can see I've been using this one quite a bit. This has got a pink lemonade structure bug on it that I made from Strike King. And this is really what started it all, was the bladed jig for me last spring, throwing it up in the canals in northern Michigan. I started throwing pink just because I could see it really well, and the bass just absolutely destroyed it. And then I started to throw pink frogs and pink swim jigs, and the rest is kind of history. So if there's one bait that I highly suggest that you try, it's a pink bladed jig. I haven't found one that's purely pink, so what I do is I buy the white bladed jigs and then I dip them in spike at dye. I did use the blade dip on the blade of the Slobber Knocker there, and then I just use the regular just dye, acetone based dye from Spike It to get the skirt pink. So if there's one pink bait you got to try, it definitely has to be a bladed jig of some sort. Now, something else that you guys have seen me do pretty well on, and even saw this year, was a pink frog. This is actually a pink lemonade Guggen frog that I made. It is a little bit worn out, but yeah, the pink frog bite last year was absolutely a game changer. It was crazy just the amount of fish that I was catching on a pink frog, and I really attribute that to, I think, the bass are keying in this area where there's baby birds that nest in the spring, and they're just used to seeing like that pink when they look up at a baby bird if it falls out of the nest, because baby birds are pink when they don't have feathers. So some sort of pink frog. Again, there's a couple manufacturers that make pink frogs, but you know, I use the Guggen Filthy Frog because Dylan from Extreme Outdoorsman is part of their you know, their pro staff, so I want to help support him. So definitely make yourself a pink frog. Again, I use the Spike It dye and paint these things pink. I can actually leave a link to the video over here in this corner so you guys can check it out to see how I make these pink frogs. And something that Dylan and I really had to figure out this year was the area specifically in northern Michigan that we're fishing. The water was really shallow. It was down about 18 inches, maybe 2 foot in some areas. So what we found is that super shallow water up in northern Michigan, we were using some sort of, you know, fluke style bait. This is the flat-nosed jerk shad from Berkeley. This is a double rig here. But we were noticing that there's a lot of dragonflies in this area that we were fishing. And with the water being so shallow, we almost felt that with a frog, that when it hits that water, we thought that it would scare and spook some of the fish. So we were literally catching some of the biggest bass of the year in 18 inches of water. But we're taking these really small fluke style baits and casting it really shallow, and the bass were absolutely destroying it. So again, pink flukes or pink fluke style baits. There's a couple manufacturers out there that make them. They work really, really well. And last but not least, a lure that I hadn't really fished a ton up until this past year. You know, the nice thing about a bladed jig is it's really versatile, right? But a lot of times you can't get them through the grass and then the heavy reeds that I fish a lot of times. So something that I started throwing this year that I'm really glad I did was this motion swim jig. I'm actually throwing this on Beyond Braid, a pink camel Beyond Braid, and the bass absolutely love this thing. And I really like a swim jig in the reeds because I can kind of maneuver through there. And there was a couple trips where this was actually the bait of choice that they really wanted. So hopefully you guys enjoyed just a kind of a quick recap of what we learned this past summer, especially in northern Michigan, throwing pink. And it's definitely a color that you need to try. I know bass probably can't see pink, I get that, but it just looks different in the water. It's a color that a lot of people aren't throwing, and it just seems to draw a lot of bites. So hope you guys enjoyed this really short video, just kind of giving you an overview of everything that we did this summer up in northern Michigan. If you guys wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. Channel's growing pretty well. Getting ready to transition into the fall period, with it being the first week of October. So really excited to get into some fall fishing. So hopefully you guys have been doing well. Thanks again for all the support. And remember, the easiest way to change your attitude is by showing gratitude. Thanks. We'll catch you in the water next time.